Okay, Euro 2024 is in the books. You've seen James's video about it, or if you haven't, go find it. James is giving you his thoughts on the Euro final. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a lot to say. So I'm sorry I missed that. I'm sorry you didn't get any reaction from me. I think all my opinions on England are pretty well founded at this point, and I didn't really have anything else to add. The best team won. I'm okay with it. But it does bring up kind of an interesting conversation. James, I think you and I would probably agree that when it comes to Ballon d'Or voting, very, very rarely does actually the best player kind of win it. Don't get me wrong, we had this crazy 10, 12 year era where the two best players in the world were winning it, and that made perfect sense. But a lot of the time, it's kind of controversial, and it's less actually about how you perform, it's more about how your CV looks. So, with that in mind, Brazil crash out of the Copa America. Spain win the Euros, how does that affect things in terms of the Ballon d'Or voting, the odds, who you think should win it, who will win it? I think you know my thoughts. I don't want to start too early, but what's your take at the moment on who's going to win the Ballon d'Or and who should win the Ballon d'Or for this year?
Just to reiterate what Jack said, I think we had a 15-year span where Messi and Ronaldo won every single year. I
And
think what
deserved it.
or and to me, I hear that time, oh, Schneider should have won it, or Fernando Torres should have won it in 2008 or something like that, or Ribery should have won it. I'm sorry, Neymar. No one deserves to have won the title of the Ballon d'Or and the best player in the world by those two when they were at their absolute peak. After that, you had the Modric year. I thought Ronaldo should have won it that year, but Modric won it. Fair play. I think that was a little bit controversial. Ronaldo would have stayed around Madrid. It might have been different there. The year Benzema won it, undoubtedly, that was an outstanding, one of the greatest years you'll ever see from a football player. Lewandowski should have won it that year. So Jack has said it in the last couple of years. I think the Ballon d'Or has completely has lost his lust and its vibe in a way. Who's the reigning winner? Messi right now, and even the year Messi won it, controversial because people thought Haaland should have won it. It's here, there, and everywhere. We're at where we're at right now, and five candidates to win it. And my thing is this: is what people seem to look at is whatever team wins, the so-called best player should automatically go on and win. I am not of that ilk. I am not
Agree.
of that ilk. I need to see you have a standout season, not just because your team's success elevates you. Do you elevate your team to where they should go? That's the thing about that's why I look at it. When R9 won it, yeah, when Zidane won it, when certain amount of, even Pavel Nedved the year Henri,
Nedved, right?
people Henri should have won. And Nedved elevated Juve. And that's what I need to see. And to me, my top, I'm gonna go for a five right now. And I'm gonna be generous to one player because defenders is so difficult for them. It really, really is so difficult for them to win it. I'm gonna say one and people think I'm crazy here, but Danny Carvajal's had one hell of a year, had
Yeah.
one hell of a year. The winner, the winner in the Champions League final, his performance against Man City on a yellow card was outstanding. His whole run for Spain was unbelievable. He probably won't win it, but I hope he gets like a top 10 finish. I seen Lamine Yamal was in there and he's good, but I think it's just because he's young. I think he's had a good season, but is it Ballon d'Or worthy? No, not
Right.
just yet. Jude Bellingham had an unbelievable start of the season. And if he would have carried on that form at the start of the season into the second half of the season, you would have had some unbelievable shouts for him. But to me, since like Christmas time, I'm not giving it to him.
James, is the Ballon d'Or 1st of January to 31st of December, or is it done seasonally? I forget. I
I
thought it
think
was
I think now it's done seasonally. I remember
seasonally. Okay.
so I remember they changed it to seasonally to like help aid certain players. But I look at a player like for instance, Vinny. Vinny had a iffy start to the season, but had some big moments there with a goal against hat trick against Barcelona. But the end of the season, unbelievable for him, and the way he was able to elevate like Real Madrid in the last part of the season to help him win the league, and then also in the Champions League, Jack. It was unbelievable what he was doing in there. The Copa America performance overall does kind of hinge it back a little bit, but the
Right.
fact that he didn't have the opportunity, Jack, but that's obviously down to his own being with like two yellow cards. He wasn't able to play in the quarterfinal. Vinny is still up there, but the man in my head I'm going to give it to is Rodri. And the reason why I'm going to give it to Rodri is that we talk about elevating performance. Yeah. Take team success out of it. Look at what Rodri has brought to Spain. Look at what Rodri has brought to Man City. Man City lost, I think, 2, 3 games last season. When Rodri was there, they did not lose a game of football. He lost one game of football in 90 minutes, and that was the FA Cup final. Yeah, Spain, granted, Spain were able to play in that second half without him, and that's true. I didn't think that he was the player of the tournament, but his level overall was outstanding. The thing about Rodri that to me also stands out with him is that Jack, he has a big goal in him. And how many times of Jack, how many times have I see his team down against Georgia? Ball runs across his body, a little Tony Cruz fake, smash with the left foot, smash with the right foot. Yeah, big performance after big performance after big performance. And granted, a player in this position isn't rewarded. So Sergio Busquets has had so many unbelievable seasons and he hasn't been rewarded. Yeah, but I look at the way football is right now. There isn't an outstanding attacking performance out there that I can give it to. Haaland, not really. Jude, I thought he's terrible after Christmas. Vinny, if there, and he's probably second in command right now. I don't think a player stood out in the Euros that make me go, wow. So I think the easy pick right now is to go for Rodri. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's very, very deserved to go for him. Jack, who do you have?
Yeah, Rodri. I think anybody who has watched any video on this channel where that name's been mentioned knows my thoughts. I think this has been the best player in the world for the last 2 years, maybe even longer. It's in a position that's not sexy. It's in a position that's not cool. And James, I'll say this too. I think Busquets plays the position of number six, holding midfield, whatever you want to call him, better than Rodri does. I would still
100.
on the park. You and me are picking teams. We're both captains. I need a number six. I'm picking Busquets ahead of Rodri. I think Rodri offers more than Busquets does across the entirety of a football match, though. I think he has more traits. He can attack you from different places. He's more physically capable, has more of a goal in him, has more of a pass in him. Again, what Busquets does, no one else has, I think, really ever done. And I don't know if they ever will. But I think Rodri's more well-rounded in his role. And again, it's not sexy, but he makes everybody around him better. It was maybe kind of a coincidence for 20 games where Rodri hadn't lost a football match. You go, oh, that's kind of funny. But the further and further you go down the line, I mean, in domestic league football, what is it, 70 games or something insane like that, where he'd not lost in the Premier League for 70 games or something insane like that? It's crazy. Add on to that the clutchness, add on to that, obviously, all the stuff with the story and all this kind of stuff. I think he's head and shoulders above everybody else. Only other ones that come to mind for me are, I do look at. I think Cole Palmer did something very special last season. I'm not saying that he's going to be in there maybe with the likes of Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. But James, I look at the goal contributions, goals, assists for the team he was playing in with the dysfunction. I also look at not even starting his impact in the European Championships as well, even off of the bench and how pivotal he was. Got the assist for Watkins' goals, scored multiple goals. I think is joint top scorer. I want to say maybe in the Euros, or maybe he's a goal off. I can't remember, but I think that's somebody who deserves a shout. Again, you know what I like. I like people who play in difficult environments and make chicken salad out of chicken. You know what? I find it very easy for a lot of players who do well in fantastic teams. But I think the difference with Rodri is I know some of you might think, oh, he's being super hypocritical because Rodri plays with Man City and Pep Guardiola. Again, they don't win as much and they actually lose when he's not playing. Any of the other players, Kevin De Bruyne, you name it, you can take them out and they might lose games. Rodri, take him out, you will lose games. Go ahead.
Jack, I think the crazy stat, I think Rodri has more trophies than losses in the last like two
In
seasons, Jack.
insane.
Something crazy. That stat is beyond belief. Like the guy's a winning machine. If he's on your team, he wins. The fact that his team won the Nations League last year, Jack, and he was involved in that and also scored a winning goal in the Champions League final. And I don't think he made top five in the Ballon d'Or and how great his performances were. But my biggest thing, Jack, for me is how much the international tournaments, the Copa America, and also I look at the Euros have affected a couple players' opportunity to win a Ballon d'Or. So
Right.
going into the Euros, a player like Kylian Mbappe, if his team would have went on to, I think if he would have performed, forget about him winning it, performed better,
right?
I think his Ballon d'Or shot would be so much more stronger than what it is because his team won League On, and we know how people feel about the League On thing. But he didn't make the semi-final of the Champions League. But if his performance would have been better, I think he would have been right up there to win the Ballon d'Or. Another player I'm going to mention, Harry Kane. Yeah,
Yeah,
his
good shout.
performance also affected, to me, his shout to be the Ballon d'Or winner. Because 40 something goals for Bayern Munich is crazy no matter how you look at it. And if he had a strong performance, let's just say he would have performed better and scored 5 to 6 goals in the European Championship and performed outstanding, you would have won a slit in Harry Kane's name in there. Another one I'm going to mention, Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
For a team
Hmm.
to go a whole season unbeaten and you to be the main man. And I think he was Bundesliga player of the year. Don't quote me on that. But I think he
I
was
think you're
a
right.
bit a better
Might have
performance
been
for
Kane, but yeah,
yeah. No, it apparently
wasn't
definitely wasn't
Kane.
Kane. Kane was
Okay.
top. Kane was top goal scorer. But for him to have a better performance in the Euros would have given him a better chop. Another one I'm going to mention, Musiala. We so many big praises, and to me, he performed well. And maybe it's the fact that he only made it to the quarterfinal that makes people look a certain type of way about it. But maybe if his performances in the knockout stage could have been more elevated, you would have looked at him there. I'm looking at Argentina player that stands out. The one player, obviously, you're going to pick is Messi, but you can't pick a player who, in my opinion, this is Messi was horrible in the whole of the Copa American. You're not going to pick a player who plays in the MLS. Maybe a player like Lautaro Martinez, Jack. Inter Milan won the Scudetto. He scored a winning goal in the final. Had a very, 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 very strong Copa America. He might be in a shout there. But my biggest thing about it is that there isn't a player that truly stands out offense. Because majority of the time of the Ballon d'Or, you point to the offensive player, and there isn't one there that really stands out. And you look at certain players like Neymar, for instance, he's probably looking at these lot thinking, man, if I was
Why
fit and
have
I was
I?
playing in Europe, why am I playing with Messi and Ronaldo? Now I'm
Well,
seeing these
James,
guys play.
Erling Haaland might be thinking, man, why didn't I just try and half replicate what I did the year before? Because then it definitely would have been mine.
Oh,
What I will say
oh.
just before we close out here, I think we have a somewhat after the Messi and Ronaldo saga, we had a somewhat rare thing where I think the narrative and the performances have actually married up beautifully. And I think Rodri
Mhm.
will win it. I think he also deserves to win it, which is really, really nice. I'm sure Sammy will let us know. I'm sure, and the internet will let us know why Vinny and Jude deserve it. But you go.
Sammy says that a player like Rodri does not deserve to win. He said football is dead. Yeah, I get if a player like Sammy, let me know. Guys, should
He's
Rodri win the
yeah.
Ballon d'Or? Let us know. Sammy, let me know. I want you in the comment section right now because we be chatting about it. Should Rodri win the Ballon d'Or? Should Jude win the Ballon d'Or? Mbappe, who am I gonna say? Kane, whoever. Comment down below who you think should be the Ballon d'Or winner. And this is Box to Box Football, and we'll see you. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.